And hey, everyone. It's Dr. Tamara Beckford with Your Caring Docs. Yes, that's where we help busy professional women, especially, to at least put themselves first for at least 2 hours a month. Why? Because there are 730 hours in a month. You can take 2 hours for yourself. Today, we're going to be helping one of the busiest of all professional women. That's right. We're talking about those new moms. Hello, right? So today I have a very special doctor in the house. I'm super excited to go over all that she has in store for you guys, right? So today we have Dr. Jessica Daigle, but you know how it is. We have to bring her in your caring docs fashion, right? So Dr. Daigle, she's a graduate of Louisiana State University School of Medicine. And then she did her residency at Morehouse School of Medicine. To shout out to all our Morehouse fans. And then she did a fellowship in neonatology and perinatology at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. So all the Terps, yes, that's right. Shout out to you guys also. Now, I am here because she is also the founder of Mommy and Me, which I'm very excited, where she's going to help moms navigate the first 12 weeks after having a baby. Now, you guys know we all need that, those who've been new moms. So welcome, Dr. Jessica Daigle.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here today.
Yes. Oh, thank you for stopping by. Now, like I said, we're helping busy professional women. And woo! After having a baby, the busiest of times, right?
Yes.
So we're thank you for starting Mom and Me. Help us through. And what you're seeing here is me reminiscing my time. So let me tell you my story, right? Okay. So after having my first son, I did have a little challenging pregnancy. So he was in the neonatal unit, the NICU, for 3 weeks, and they were teaching him how to eat. So I'm like, okay, great. They said, he has a schedule: 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. So I was like, I got this. I'm like, oh, so he just eats at 3, 6, 9. Okay, so once he gets home, 3, 6. Man, as soon as he got home, 1:30, 2:25, 7:30. I was like, okay, this is not what happened inside the hospital.
No.
So I'm so glad that you decided that you're going to help all of these women to ease that transition.
Yes.
So, we talked about you're a neonatologist and all this other stuff. Before we go a little further, let's go through what is a neonatologist.
Well, to be clear, I didn't finish my neonatology fellowship. I did the first year, and then I left because I had my own preterm infant, and then I started to work in the hospitalist as a neonatal hospitalist. So a neonatologist is a pediatrician that's done extra training where they do fellowship. It's an additional 3 years, just focusing on neonates and newborns that need intensive care. And so that could be because they were born with genetic challenges or premature, which is anything under 37 weeks, or heart defects, different genetic syndromes, anything where they need a little bit of extra special attention in the hospital and need to be prepared a certain way to go home. And so that's essentially what a neonatologist does. And so I work in the same vein. I just work in a level 1 and level 2 NICU and nursery, whereas a fully neonatologist that's finished will often work in a level 3 or level 4 NICU. And the levels just are to do with like escalation of care. So if they need surgery versus like how your son may have just been qualified as what we call like a feeder grower, like they just need to work on feeding and growing, but otherwise they're clinically well, then a lot of those babies are in what we call a level 2 NICU. So,
wonderful. So now when did you decide, say, you know what, I'm going to help these new moms? And we have a couple of some really great people are saying hi, Dr. Necker, Dr. Una, and Dr. Parmeshwari. Thank you. And Dr. Jeannie Lawrence. Everyone is like, hey, thank you for starting this, because a lot of women need help. So why did you decide, say, you know what, I'm going to help these women, moms, because once you get that term, you feel so great. Oh,
yes.
Mom.
Yes.
And then afterwards, you're looking like, what am I going to do now? So why did you decide?
So I've always had a heart for babies and their families. I remember being in training, and, you know, when you're deciding a specialty, you know, I would have a lot of my friends be like, oh, are you crazy going into pediatrics? I don't want to deal with those parents. And I actually enjoy dealing with the parents, because even before I had my own kids, I just knew that this was a special time, and you're worried about this whole person. Like, you've lived your life, you know, only having to be concerned with yourself and how you're functioning and what your dreams and hopes are. And then you have a new little person and you realize, wow, like, I'm responsible for a whole other person. Their basic needs, eating, sleeping, growing, but also raising them. Like, what do I want? Who do I want them to become? Like, you start looking at yourself, like, am I the best person to do this? Like, and you're almost kind of like, they let me take this baby home from the hospital.
I know. And then you get nervous.
Have any training. And I have so much respect for babies. It's just in general, because, you know, everybody else gets some on the job training. And so babies and moms in general, because everything else, you kind of get a little training, you get a little period where people observe you, and then they release you into the world and say, hey, we think you have what it takes to do this job. Babies, they come out, they have to eat, breathe, suck, swallow, pee, poop, and do everything at the same time. And then you as a parent have to all of a sudden know exactly what to do, and you have never had to do it before, especially if it's the first time out. And even for those who is not the first time, every kid is different. I find myself telling parents, you know, they all tell me, oh, well, so-and-so breastfed well, but this baby doesn't even want to latch. And I have to reassure them, like, they're their own people. And I'm always amazed that, especially when I look at my own kids, how two people can come from the same two people and they'd be so totally different.
Absolutely.
When I started just thinking about my work, because I've just even personally been on this dive as to what am I really here for over the last year. And I think of being a physician as a calling, but I was like, but I don't think that's my gift. Like, what is it that I really do? Where do I feel like I make the most impact? And it's when I'm with my families, like, even once the baby is settled, even if I've had to admit them to the NICU, is really spending the time with that family, counseling, educating, and reassuring them. And I was like, well, you know, they still need help beyond that period. Like, when they go home, you know, it's only a finite amount of time. And I learned it because I'll get a lot of colleagues and friends and even nursing staff that I work with texting me different questions about their babies. And they have pediatricians. So it's like, well, do we need to meet them where they are? Like, do they obviously need like a guide? And no amount of books you read, I mean, we all do it. We read all kinds of things, but it's in the moment, all the education that you have. Even me as a pediatrician having kids, like, I remember
out of the head.
My son was in the NICU too, and I remember he did everything like great at the hospital. And then the first night when he came home, he wanted to turn blue and choke on his food. And I was like, "What are you doing? I don't need to be doing CPR on you right now." And you know, so I realized even then, I still needed like coaching myself. Like, all right, like, calm down. Like, let's focus on what it is. Like, let's look at it. What do we need to do? And so I love the idea of being that person for families, like reaching them where they are and helping them through this, because becoming a new mom, it's a whole mindset shift. Like, your whole life is about to be different. Like, now every decision you make, your kid is going to be right there in the back of that decision. Like, you're about to go, oh, wait, do I have childcare? Wait, no, wait, I can't just agree to go to this right now. I need to see if somebody can watch my kid, or do I need to be over here? Or sorry, I can't do that because it's time for me to feed my kid. And so, you know, like, just somebody understanding that that now is the change, and helping you through that is so important.
Absolutely. And, one of our colleagues, Dr. Jarita Hagen, she said, everyone is focused on the baby and not necessarily the mommy.
Yes.
And you're right. That transition period. And I love the fact that it's not just, we're going to help you through the first 2 weeks, because at that point, you're still giddy about being a mom. But I think after the first 2 weeks, you're probably at that point, that's when the sleep deprivation is kicking in, because I don't know about everyone else, but I was so afraid to go to sleep. I had my baby, wrapped with me, and I sat in the bed like this and I didn't want to lay down. I didn't want to put him down. Because I didn't know if I went to sleep and he is there in the bassinet, if I jump up and wake up, is he going to still be awake? At least when he's here, I can feel his heartbeat. I can know this. But then, after 2 weeks, you kind of need sleep.
Yeah, you do. You cannot sustain that. You can't sustain that.
Absolutely. So I love the fact that you're transitioning beyond just week 2. You're going up to week 12. And at that point, that's really when it's sunk into you that I'm a mother. And like you said, there are additional questions that come up in week 3, week 4, when you have been released from the care. Week 5, when the baby's starting to do different things, but you had that one question: is this normal?
Yeah.
When the little leg is twitching a little bit, and they do all that. Is that normal, or are they having a seizure, or poor little neurons are just trying to connect?
Or now they're not tolerating a formula. Like, are they allergic to it? Or I get like, my baby is sneezing. Do they have allergies? And so it's just a lot of questions that come up. And a lot of it is just educated and reassurance. And God bless us pediatricians, especially in the office, they can't do it all. Like, and you need it's a certain subset of patients that need different things. And I think it's enough space there to be able to cater to whatever different people need and meet them where they are.
Absolutely. You're doing a wonderful, wonderful thing. And one of the things too that I think is so important as you bring you help these mothers to transition is for them to also understand that the care is not only like what Dr. Hagen says, not only for the baby, you're going to need care also. So I know it's easier said than done. The mantra, when the baby sleeps, you sleep. I'm afraid to
I just spoke to that. On my Instagram post, I said, until I had kids, I used to believe that foolishness too. And you know what it is? It's foolishness, because when your baby is sleeping, that's about the time you feel like you can get something done around the house. Usually you're like, all right, now they're asleep. This is when I can cook a meal, or, let me go take a shower that I've been trying to take for the last 2 hours, And so it really opens your mind that really the way that a mom thrives is support. And unfortunately, there's a wide range of support. And if you look at other cultures, after mom has a baby, they're still treated like they're pregnant. Like, they're like, okay, you sit over there and you do nothing but focus on that baby, and we'll do everything else. We'll clean, we'll cook, we'll do whatever you need. And that's necessary because you're undergoing physical changes. I mean, think about it. Anybody else that has surgery, like somebody right now, you go and get your gallbladder taken out. You get to be on bed rest. Everybody gonna cater to you. You can't do nothing. Don't lift anything. A mom have a C-section. She still got to pick up that baby.
What about if she has another baby too? The baby has to be picked up also.
If you're at home, you got a 2-year-old hanging off your leg, and then you got your new baby. And it's really that you really have to understand what's really going on and really be there to help them. And not everybody have the same resources, unfortunately. Like, some people able to have their family. Like, with my kids, I'm from Louisiana. It was just me and my husband and my kids, and we had to try to scramble to find different people to come help. And that's stressful in itself, because then you worry, is this person going to love my kid the same way that I do? Or are they going to really watch them? And so it's really a whole nother layer of stress and overwhelm that can come. And those are the things that's running through their mind in the middle of the night. And like you said, I watch my son too. Like, is he breathing? Even now I still go and put my hand on my kid's chest and make sure it's rising. And some of that is just normal. And a lot of it is, we're not going to necessarily take away those feelings, but we can navigate them. We can walk through them. We can be reassured that that's normal. And that's what a lot of it is. It's just understanding that these feelings and these things are going to come up, but we can tackle them together.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the things I love about this mom in me with this transitioning and helping, because there are a lot of normals that occur, but you're not sure if it is happening.
That's
right?
True.
And then you'll also be able to navigate and help to say, that is actually not normal.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you get the reassurance from your normals and your abnormals.
Yes, that's
so
true.
That's important. And then also the biggest thing I think that a point that you just made is the support that's needed for women who are going through that perinatal period with postpartum period with the perinatal, right? Perinatal means that you just had the baby's going up to 6 to 12 weeks. That, there's a lot of support that's needed. The women, other than sleep deprivation, what about even women who are trying to breastfeed?
Yes.
Breastfeeding, I think that, it's something that's so important, but it's such a challenge for a lot of women.
It is.
It's an emotional challenge, right? Because you think you're just supposed to know how to do it.
Yes. And that's actually one of those myths that's out there. And it's unfortunate too, because some people can be very shaming of moms who are unable to breastfeed, instead of trying to see what are the barriers and how you can best support them and educate. It's just like, there's different mom, breast, nipple, baby combinations, and all of those pieces have to fit together. And then there's medical history. I've even since learned about medical conditions that can even impact breastfeeding. And so it's a medicine just like anything else. And sometimes you have to break down a medical history, and say, okay, this might be the challenges, and this is what we need to do to tackle it. But yes, you at the core of you feel like your most basic thing is to be able to feed your baby and care for them. And if you feel like you can't do that, that's emotionally taxing. There's so many things that come at you, at the moms, that then concerns about postpartum depression and navigating your new relationship now with your spouse. And it's just, it affects everything. It changes everything about your life. And having someone that understands that, but also able to give you the practical tools is what I aim to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of our colleagues, Dr. Costa, said nursing can be difficult, and there can be a lot of guilt around not being able to nurse your child. And I think that that's so important. I had a lot of guilt with my first child. I wasn't able to nurse. I remember, hearing this, I still get PTSD from hearing a breast pump.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Because I used it incessantly and I barely got any milk from it. So when I hear it, it reminds me of the inability to get milk, especially during right after my first child. The second one, thank God I was able to. But I'm pretty sure there are others who, have gone through similar. So having, mom and me and someone like you to help them to understand that that's okay, we'll be able to help you through it is very important.
Yes.
Now, here's another thing that's important, as we were saying, self-care.
Yes.
For moms. We said the support is important, but also the self-care is important.
Yes.
What do you have to say to these women? Because it's like, I can't be looked at or breathed on by anyone for the first blank amount of time. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. Yes. Let's talk to the moms who are out there who are either listening now, or they're currently pregnant and they're going to have their baby soon.
Yes.
How important is self-care, and when is it okay to start doing
So self-care is key. When I'm even discharging families from the hospital, I go through a couple of things, like how to take care of the umbilical cord, how to save sleep, the car seat. I leave them with this parting words, two things. One, you are your baby's best advocate. And two, you have to take care of yourself so you can best take care of your baby. The two go hand in hand. I see it a lot of times where the moms, they may have had medical challenges even at the hospital, and they're worried about the baby. And it's like, but you still have to heal too, because if you're not your best, then you can't be the best for your baby. So we spoke about support. I always laugh when we used to be able to have people in the hospital and we would have all these visitors. I'd tell them, like, you take note of all the people in this
who love to come in right now.
If they showed up now to see your baby, tell them part of the criteria is they have to be willing to watch your baby at least 1 hour so you can do something. Because it's not enough just to be like Dr. Jarita was saying, oh, the baby. Yes, the baby is cute too, but I'm still important. The baby's an extension of me. And so if I'm not at my best, then that affects everything around me. And that's even before you have a kid. So hopefully the new moms, you already have a routine in place. You already believe this about yourself. But really, it's okay. A lot of it too is that we as women, I think, we feel like we have to do it all. I think it's a culture. Absolutely. And that asking for help is a sign of weakness, but it's actually a sign of strength. It's recognizing that it does take a village. Like part of my thing on my website, I'm working on it, is going to say mom and me plus village equals 3. You need a village.
I love it.
The dad needs the education too, or the partner or whoever is there to support you. They need to be included in this plan. Like, okay, on Fridays, I need to do X, Y, and Z from 9 to 10. I need you to show up and watch the baby. I'm pumping. I'm gonna have some milk ready for you, and I'm gonna do this. And a lot of it is trusting. One, you have to trust whoever it is that you're asking, and that can be the hard part, because I work with my families. Like, you're not abandoning your baby by leaving them, like letting somebody watch them for an hour. Start small. Like, you don't have to leave the house the first time. Maybe just say, hey, let them be in the other room, and you go take a hot shower and dedicate yourself to a 30-minute Netflix episode. You can build up to it, whatever it is. But it's key to understand that you are setting up a pattern for healthy habits and behaviors. And eventually your child is going to be watching you take care of yourself. And so you want to teach them to have balance and take care of themselves too. Like this baby is going to become an adult one day. And it starts now. Like, it starts now, them observing and seeing you, and healthy patterns. Laying that foundation is actually going to help only you and your baby do better. So it is important, and you don't have to do big. I get it, because I tell them, like, it's not abandoning your child. I always make the joke, well, you know how, I don't know, I used to babysit. So I used to say, well, I would babysit, but I know that I'm going to be able to give this kid back.
Exactly. A lot of people are happy to give
Yeah. So when you have a baby, though, that baby is yours forever. So if you don't take the time, you will never get it, because you will never ever be able to fully say, I am done with this kid. You know what I mean? Like, when you're babysitting, there's a finite time, like, or I'm watching them from 9 to 12 and they go back to their parent. Well, when they're your kid, you have to say, well, I'm going to take 9 to 10 so I can take a walk, do a jog, do whatever it is. So that way I can show up and be my best self. So self-care is showing up and being your best self.
Absolutely wonderful words. And it's so necessary and important. And I love that you said that once you do the self-care, then you will show up as a better person after.
You do, because it's finite. Like you said, like the sleep, just like the sleep. If you go without sleep so long, you eventually give up. Something's gonna give. No, I had the same thing. Like, if something's gonna give, like, what's gonna sacrifice? You're always sacrificing something, right? Because you can't do everything all at the same time. So what is I always tell people, evaluate stuff, risk benefit. Well, it's more beneficial to have a system in place for yourself, a plan for your self-care, a plan for your home, so you feel like you're thriving, and instead of just surviving. And it's only going to keep going however you start off, So start off strong.
Absolutely. Start off strong.
Yes.
Start off strong, ladies. Wonderful. Yeah. Now that we've gotten all and talk about everybody else, we're going to talk about So now, what are you doing for self-care? Let us know. Let us know. Let us know.
Yeah. So part of that has been identifying what do I really enjoy. So I love to read and I love getting massages. And so I have in place where, so I work 2 weeks on and off at the hospital currently. And so during my time off, I go ahead and get a massage, and that's my thing. And see, by doing that, it gives you something to look forward to. It's kind of like vacation. Like when people know a vacation is coming, you know, it puts you in a different mood. You kind of like got a little pep in your step. You're like, oh, all right, come Friday, I'm going to be getting in my car or on the plane and I'm going to wherever, right? And so if you make self-care scheduled, and if people follow me on Instagram, I did like 12 self-care tips. And part of it was like having a routine, like scheduling that in just like you do anything else. You know, you're going to go get your hair done sometimes. You're going to get your nails. If you got to pick up your kids, everything else you schedule. So put that in too. And then it gives you something to look forward to. And it's a healthy habit. So for me, massages, I love watching like crime shows like FBI. So just, you know, like binge watching stuff like that. Even sometimes hanging out with my kids is self-care for me because I've been focus so much on like taking care of everyone else's children, which I still love. But then I'm like, okay, I need some of my own kids and some of those hugs and laughter and silly times. And so it can change. It can definitely vary, but it's important that you do it for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Dr. Mercado said, yes, you need to advocate for self-care and show up for others in your best mindset. So I love that. So, you know, we found out what you're doing for self-care. So we're reading, we're getting massages. We're sometimes, you know, our self-care. And I love that you said sometimes self-care really means just really hanging out with your child and having silly time.
Yeah.
Like I loved one of your posts recently said that, you know, you rounded at 4 a.m. I remember I was looking at my husband. I said, you see that? So Jessica, I said for her to round at 4 a.m. so that she can hang out with her child at 10 a.m. and go and make her a princess and make, you know, she got up at 2. She's getting ready. But sometimes that's what you do because that's silly time at 10 a.m. when you're
and I felt so good to do that, Dr. Beckford. That did so much wonders for me because I focus on my son so much with soccer. And I was like, my daughter needs me too. And see, it's always that balance. And so, you know, that's why it's not like with the mom and me, it's not like I have it all figured out. I'm working through it too. These are processes and things I'm continuously putting in play. And that balance is always something you're going to need. And it's just a reality. Like even when I have families in the NICU and they have a baby on the NICU bed and they have kids at home, I reassure them, hey, we got your baby. Go and hang out with your 2-year-old. They don't understand that why mommy's not been at the house for the last couple of days. And it does them good too to go and see their other child like thriving and doing stuff. And then they come back with a renewed sense of hope and purpose. And it does everybody good. And usually the baby is doing better too. And everybody's in a better place. You know, it's just understanding it's going to ebb and flow like that. But having somebody that understands that and reassuring you about that, not making you feel guilty that you got to choose, you know, that's just part of it. Yeah, like, no, it's balance. You know, we all got to balance things. And so that's important. But yes, like doing that with my daughter, it did wonders for my spirit. And I know God was like in that moment. Let me tell you why. Because the ticket, I was supposed to buy the ticket for that event like that Monday. And I was all caught up in work. And it was like that Friday. And I was like, oh no. And I still went on and I got a ticket. And then like the next day when we were at the event, people were like, yeah, so I couldn't get a ticket. They had wrapped it up. And I was like, well, that was God for sure, because I got it in time, you know, and it's been so much fun. And it just does I go back and look at those pictures and it just does my soul good. So
yes. Absolutely. Yeah, she was a princess and so were you. I saw it. Wonderful, wonderful. So now that we're talking about, so you became a princess that day. However, we want to know. You know, you did all of these things, you went to all of the school and everything. But if you weren't a doctor, what would you be?
Okay, so I had two things. One, in my former self, like my young self, I would have been a background dancer for Janet Jackson. I'm just saying.
Okay, control. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't do it. Love it.
Other thing, which is another passion of mine, is I love music, but I I would be what's called, and I just figured out what this is called, a music supervisor. So, like when you're watching a TV show, the people who pick the songs that are playing at certain times. Yeah, I think I'm really good at that. Like, I know what I feel like when I'm watching a scene, I even can hear a song that I feel like should be playing at that time. Like, I find myself Shazamming the TV. And that's how I come across a lot of music. Like, I'll be watching Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, what's that song? And so then I'll Shazam it. And now I got a new playlist, different people that And so I actually looked it up. I was like, who does that? Like, cause if you think about it, when you're watching a scene, the music creates the moment for you. Like, it can drive, yes, it can drive it. And so I just think that's so profound. I love all kinds of deep things. My mom always said I was an old soul. She said, she was like, you always were an old soul, even though you always act like I was so much older than I was. But that's what I would do. I would be a music supervisor. If somebody just came to me right now and say, hey, you want to help me pick the music for this, I would be game. I would love it.
Absolutely. Well, here it is. You're putting together the soul and the music and the soundtrack for all of these.
That's right.
Like, putting it out there.
I can make a music soundtrack for my moms. Yeah,
absolutely. Get them through that period. But you are doing it though. You're doing it in another way, but you evoking the emotion and you're helping them to transition. So you're not only doing it with music when you're Shazam and your movies, but you're also doing it in the lives of all of these moms.
And I love it. I love taking care of families. I love people, and I just love, I just think it's all so beautiful, and it's so special. And so I never take it for granted, because I know any moment, every time it's a miracle, because something could be wrong with a baby or something could happen with a mom. So for me, every time a mom and a baby leaves the hospital, that's a win for me. I'm like, yes, we did it.
Absolutely. And you know what the thing about it is that it shows. It absolutely does.
Thank you.
So, you're there, like I said, you have these soundtracks for the heart, for the mom, and for the families that's out there. Let them know, hey, this is your soundtrack. We are family. Hey, help them take care of that mom, right? Absolutely. So now let's know, where can these, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are watching this. They're like, wow, and you have a lot of people who have been supporting here in the comments section.
Thank you.
Yes. So let them know, where can they find you?
Okay, so I am getting myself together, people, but I do have a landing page. That's for you, Dr. Carolyn Moria. That's my big sister.
All right, Dr. Moria is there over in the outskirts area. Yes.
So what I'll do is post it. I'm on Facebook as Just Daigle, but I have an Instagram that's focused specifically on the Mom and Me business. So that's at @momandme_MD. And so after this, I can post a link to my landing page, and people will receive, moms who are interested will receive 5 ways to overcome overwhelm when bringing home their new baby, because overwhelm is the thing that tries to steal the joy of that new baby at the house. And so we want to tackle that and not say that it won't happen. It's part of natural transitioning, but we can overcome it. And that's what I want them to be able to do. So I'll post that link in my Instagram and on my Facebook, Just Daigle.
All right. Wonderful, Dr. Daigle. Thank you so much for stopping by. And one of the things, you are definitely one of our docs who cares. Yes, you are absolutely one of our docs who cares. Now, we do have a community, which is within the Your Caring Docs. It's the VIPU community, for which we are inviting those who want to be part of it. We're talking about self-care and knowing that self-care is important, right? Because you have to be able to take care of yourself in order to be there to take care of everyone else. What's most important right now is that we have just finished September, and tomorrow we are starting October, and October is one of our Cancer Awareness Month. And here in the Your Caring Docs community, we are throwing our first mini summit Yes, it is our Empower and Inform Women's Cancer Summit. So we are inviting all of you here who are listening to join us for our summit. It is free. It is October 25th through the 28th. And on the 28th, we're having a live speaker, Dr. Abina Brewster from MD Anderson, who
Wow.
is a powerhouse. Yes. So I'd love for all of you who are listening to join us. And it's free. Just go to www.yourcaringdocs. That's YourCaringDocs.com, where you can sign up for our free summit. That's right. That's our Empower and Inform Women's Cancer Summit. We have great speakers. We have the wonderful Dr. Lorna Rodriguez from California, our onc. We have our wonderful Dr. Mitra Ayazafar, who is going to give us her story. And we have Dr. Minako Abi from Tokyo talking about therapy. Absolutely. And our wonderful live speaker, as I said, Dr. Abina Brewster, who is here in Houston at MD Anderson. So those of you guys who are out there, do not forget to sign up. You do not want to miss this wonderful summit that we're having on October 25th through the 28th. Yes, thank you all for stopping by. Hey, oh wow, one of our Pastor Gregory Ballard from the hospital here in Houston has stopped by and said beautiful blessing. Thank you guys for joining us. We're gonna be appreciative of your time. You have taken some time off from lunch to join us, and we are very, very thankful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And all you guys, we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.